There is a moment, quiet, fragile, when the boundary between Earth and the infinite begins to dissolve. A moment when the sky is no longer a ceiling, but a threshold, and you feel, almost instinctively, that our world is only the first step of a much larger journey. For thousands of years, humans gazed upward, wondering what lies beyond that soft blue veil. But space has no sky, no edges, no familiar anchors. Only silence, drift, and the cold architecture of the cosmos. Out there, distance loses its meaning. Time stretches and bends. Light becomes a message from ancient stars, traveling millions of years just to touch your eyes. And the farther you drift from Earth, the more you realize space is not empty. It is alive with hidden forces, invisible currents, and vast, unexplored pathways that have shaped the universe long before we learned to dream of leaving home. And tonight, we will follow those pathways. Space does not begin with distance. It begins with silence. A silence so absolute, so unbroken, that even your own breath feels foreign inside it. As the planet slowly falls away beneath you, its oceans shrinking into streaks of blue, its continents dissolving into soft, swirling shapes, you begin to understand that you are no longer bound to a world of weight, wind, or sound. Gravity loosens its hold. Time stretches into something slower, more fluid, and the body, for the first time, tastes what it means to drift unanchored through the void. The familiar becomes miniature, the unknown becomes infinite. It is here, suspended above the world, that the first true realization arrives. Space is not the darkness you once imagined. It is a radiant sea of particles, each one forged in distant stars, each one carrying the memory of cosmic origins. Photons sweep past you like silent messengers. Charged particles weave invisible pathways through magnetic fields, tracing patterns older than the Earth itself. Even the vacuum thought to be empty is alive with quantum fluctuations, virtual particles appearing and vanishing in a rhythm too fast for the mind to grasp. The void is not void. It is the universe's quiet breathing. As you begin to drift farther from Earth, human concepts collapse. Up and down vanish. Horizons disappear. Motion becomes relative, defined only by nearby stars that seem frozen in a silent dance. Your body adapts to microgravity. Muscles loosen. The heart beats differently. Fluid rises toward the head. In this environment, the spacecraft becomes both refuge and bridge, an island of air and warmth, drifting through an ocean of cold, indifferent beauty. The line separating you from the cosmos is no thicker than a whisper of metal, a reminder of how thin the boundary is between existence and oblivion. Yet within this fragility lies an extraordinary truth. Humans are not strangers to the cosmos. We are made of it. Every atom of carbon in your body was once forged in the heart of a star. Every molecule of oxygen you breathe was shaped by cosmic cycles billions of years old. Space travel is not an escape into the unknown. It is a return to our origins. Out here, away from the noise of civilization, the universe reveals itself not as a distant backdrop, but as an intimate presence. The stars feel closer, the silence feels heavier, and the mind, unburdened by gravity, begins to expand into new shapes of wonder. As Earth continues to shrink behind you, a final realization settles into your thoughts. The journey through space is not measured in kilometers or hours. It is measured in perspective. Each passing moment reshapes how you understand time, scale, and existence. The universe is vast, ancient, and indifferent, yet here you are, a fragile consciousness drifting through it, witnessing what only a handful of humans have ever seen. The boundary between traveler and universe softens, awareness deepens, and the journey truly begins. The farther you drift from Earth, the more its presence changes. What was once your entire reality, oceans, cities, mountains, memories, shrinks into a single, glowing sphere suspended in darkness. From this distance, storms swirl like delicate brushstrokes, continents fade into pale contours, and human borders become meaningless. The planet no longer appears divided, it looks alive, unified, beating with atmospheric rhythms and slow currents of cloud. Its thin blue halo, no wider than a few heartbeats, is all that separates life from the vacuum. Seeing it from here reshapes something deep within you. Fragility becomes undeniable, beauty becomes overwhelming. As the spacecraft continues its ascent, Earth's protective layers fade one by one. First the troposphere, with its weather and winds, then the stratosphere, where ozone absorbs ultraviolet radiation. Beyond that lies the thermosphere, where atoms are so spaced out they no longer behave like air. And once these layers fall away entirely, you enter a realm where sunlight becomes harsh, unfiltered, and white-hot, yet shadows become impossibly cold. Space is a world of extremes. Blistering radiation on one side, frozen darkness on the other. In this environment, survival depends not on the body, but on engineering thin shells of metal, coded circuits, and artificial atmospheres that create a pocket of sanctuary adrift in the void. Radiation becomes your new landscape. Not visible light, but the deeper, hidden ranges. X-rays, gamma rays, cosmic particles traveling near the speed of light. These rays do not behave like the photons you are familiar with. They pierce through flesh, electronics, and matter itself. They whisper the story of ancient supernovae, collapsing stars, and the violent birthplaces of galaxies. Your spacecraft shields you, but faint traces still pass through reminders that space is not empty serenity, but a storm of invisible energies. In this realm, the universe speaks in wavelengths the human eye was never meant to see. Gradually, the feeling of distance grows into something stranger: disconnection, not emotional, but existential. Without gravity, the body no longer knows which way is down. Without air, sound loses meaning. Without a horizon, the mind floats freely, unanchored. You begin to realize how deeply human perception depends on Earth's familiar forces. Out here, the senses must recalibrate. Orientation becomes an internal process. Balance becomes a mental construct. Movement becomes a negotiation with inertia. Space strips perception to its essence, revealing just how much of human experience is shaped by the planet we left behind. Yet even as you move deeper into the void, a quiet awareness unfolds, an understanding that this isolation is an illusion. For the first time, you can see the structure of the universe directly. Stars no longer twinkle. Without atmosphere, they burn steadily, fiercely, unmoving except for their ancient, precise drift. The Milky Way stretches across darkness like a river of frozen light. The spacecraft becomes a vessel not just of metal, but of perspective, carrying you into a realm where distance becomes time, and time becomes history written in starlight. In this silence, you begin to sense the enormity of what lies ahead. Worlds unvisited, destinations imagined, and pathways through a cosmos that has existed for billions of years before humanity dreamed of reaching it. As you drift farther from Earth, a moment arrives when the last traces of familiarity dissolve into the black. The planet's glow fades behind you, its blue radiance swallowed by distance, and for the first time you encounter pure cosmic darkness, a darkness unlike anything seen on Earth. It is not the absence of light, but the absence of scattering, reflection, and air. In this vastness, darkness becomes a substance, thick and steady, surrounding the spacecraft like an ocean with no surface. And within it, every photon stands alone, sharp, unfiltered, clean. Stars no longer shimmer, they pierce directly into your vision, each one a needle of ancient fire. The universe feels both infinite and intimate, as if every point of light is waiting to be understood. Slowly, your perception shifts. You begin to notice an invisible architecture woven into the blackness, the faint glow of zodiacal dust reflecting sunlight, the subtle arcs of micrometeor trails burning out before your eyes. The shimmering boundary where solar wind meets the interstellar medium. These structures were always present, yet hidden from Earth by atmosphere and distance. Here, they become a delicate web, threads of light and motion stretching across empty space. You start to sense how dynamic the cosmos truly is. Space is not still. It moves, flows, vibrates with energy. Even darkness has texture once you learn how to look into it. The spacecraft's instruments reveal what the eyes cannot. The constant hum of cosmic background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang itself. It permeates every direction, a whisper from a time when the universe was only minutes old. As sensors translate these microwaves into patterns, you realize you are surrounded by the oldest detectable light in existence, radiation that has traveled for 13.8 billion years just to reach this moment. In that realization, you feel the vast separation between human time and cosmic time. Space travel is not movement through geography, it is movement through history. Every meter forward is a step into deeper past. Microgravity continues reshaping your body and thoughts. Fluids redistribute, muscles relax, and your inner sense of orientation begins to detach from everything you previously understood. But something else emerges, a profound calm. Without weight, the mind untethers itself from urgency. Without horizons, the eyes drift endlessly. Without the noise of weather, cities, or atmosphere, silence folds around you like a soft, infinite blanket. You begin to understand why astronauts describe space not as emptiness, but as clarity. In this environment, consciousness feels lighter, smoother, more reflective. The boundaries of thought expand. And yet, despite this serene drift, a deeper emotion rises: awe. Awe at the sheer scale of what surrounds you, galaxies scattered like grains of dust, nebulae blooming with invisible wavelengths, the skeletal frameworks of cosmic filaments stretching across millions of light years. You realize that every star you see is a sun. Every sun may have worlds, and every world might hold mysteries untouched by human understanding. Space is not merely a destination, it is a question. A question so enormous, so ancient, that even standing in its presence becomes an act of reverence. Here, in the quiet depths of the beyond, you feel something shift inside you. You are no longer a traveler leaving Earth. You are a traveler entering the universe. As your spacecraft slips deeper into the void, a profound shift in scale begins to occur, not in the universe, but in your perception of it. Distances that once felt enormous become trivial. The space between Earth and the Moon, once the greatest frontier in human history, now feels like a small step behind you. The vast separation between planets becomes measurable, almost comprehensible. And yet, as the solar system stretches ahead, you begin to see how vastness grows exponentially. What felt like an immense cosmos from Earth was only the smallest chamber in a cathedral of impossible size. Space travel reveals this truth slowly, gently, through perspective rather than explanation. The spacecraft becomes your only anchor. Every component suddenly carries new meaning. The whisper of air circulating through the cabin, the subtle shifting of temperature, the soft hum of electronics. These are the sounds of survival in a place where nature offers no support. Life support systems regulate oxygen with precision beyond human breath. Radiation shielding absorbs cosmic rays traveling at nearly the speed of light. Thrusters adjust orientation with microbursts unseen and unfelt. Out here, engineering replaces instinct. The spacecraft becomes a machine not of metal, but of trust. Trust that it will maintain the delicate bubble, separating life from the cold vacuum surrounding it. Outside this fragile refuge, the solar system reveals its true structure. Planets are not arranged in tidy lines. They sweep through elliptical paths, racing at unimaginable speeds. Earth rushes around the Sun at 30 kilometers per second. Jupiter moves more slowly but carries gravitational influence like a silent giant sculpting the orbits of countless objects. The asteroid belt is not a chaotic swarm, but a subtle distribution of matter shaped by resonances and ancient collisions. Everywhere you look, there is movement, comets arcing through glowing trails, dust spiraling in disk-like currents, magnetic fields twisting and snapping in silent storms. Space is dynamic, not the still canvas imagined from afar, but a living, shifting environment. As you travel farther from the Sun, light itself begins to change. It grows colder, softer, thinner. Shadows become sharper, deeper. The solar wind weakens. Charged particles lose their guiding force. The heliosphere stretches into a faint protective bubble surrounding the solar system, like an invisible membrane. Beyond that membrane lies the interstellar medium, a thin haze of atoms, dust, and ancient radiation drifting between the stars. At this boundary, sensors detect a subtle rise in cosmic rays, the frontier where the sun's influence begins to fade. You find yourself at the doorstep of the galaxy, witnessing the moment where one celestial domain ends and another begins. And through it all, a quiet realization grows. Space travel is not merely movement through distance, it is movement through scale, through layers of structure that expand far beyond human experience. From planet to star, from star to spiral arm, from spiral arm to galactic web, the universe unfolds like a colossal map with no center and no final boundary. Each step outward reveals a deeper symmetry, a wider framework, a more ancient truth. The farther you travel, the more the mind stretches to accommodate these new dimensions. The stars no longer feel like distant lights, they feel like markers on a vast and intricate architecture. In this moment, suspended between the familiar solar light behind you and the unknown starlight ahead, you understand what space travel truly is. Not an escape from Earth, but an expansion of the human horizon. As the inner planets recede behind you, the solar system begins to reveal its true scale, one that cannot be understood from Earth, only felt in the slow, endless drift through its vast corridors. Days pass, then weeks, and the sun gradually shrinks from a radiant disk to a brilliant point of light, no different from the stars that surround it. Heat thins, shadows sharpen. Space grows colder, and the twilight around your spacecraft deepens into a darker, quieter shade of black. In this silence, you begin to sense the immensity of the journey. Planets no longer seem like neighbors, but islands scattered across an ocean far wider than imagination alone can grasp. Ahead, Jupiter rises, not as a distant spark, but as an approaching world of impossible size. Even from millions of kilometers away, its presence dominates everything. Bands of swirling storms stretch across its face like strokes of cosmic paint, each one larger than continents. The great red spot rotates silently, a hurricane 3 centuries old, its winds circling with a power beyond anything Earth could contain. As you draw closer, you feel a shift not in the spacecraft, but in the fabric of space itself. Jupiter's gravity bends light, tugs at your trajectory, shapes the path around it like a massive invisible hand. Space travel exposes these unseen forces in a way no textbook can. Gravity becomes not an equation, but a presence. Its moons orbit like a miniature solar system. Io, volcanic and restless, spews plumes of sulfur into space. Europa hides an ocean beneath its frozen shell, an entire world of water drifting in silence. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, generates its own magnetic field, a celestial rarity. Callisto, ancient and cratered, carries the scars of billions of years. As you drift past them, you sense that each moon is a world unto itself, a potential cradle for life or history waiting to be uncovered. In this moment, you understand that space exploration is not just about reaching planets, it is about recognizing how many worlds exist beyond our own. Leaving Jupiter behind, you travel outward into regions where sunlight loses nearly all warmth. Saturn appears next, adorned with rings so thin and delicate they seem impossible. From afar, they glow like halos, geometric, serene. But up close, they reveal themselves as billions of shards. Ice, dust, rock, each piece orbiting in perfect balance. Their structure is a study in cosmic harmony, shaped by gravity, collisions, and resonances that play out over millions of years. The rings whisper a story of creation and destruction, of moons shattered and reborn. As the spacecraft glides past them, you feel as though you are drifting through the ruins of a celestial cathedral. Beyond Saturn, the solar system grows quiet. Uranus and Neptune wait in the dim outer regions, cold giants with atmospheres of methane and storms that rage in slow, silent spirals. Their moons drift in lonely orbits, illuminated only by faint sunlight and the starlight beyond. Here, distance takes on a new meaning. Travel becomes slow, deliberate, measured not by movement, but by patience. You feel the weight of time stretch out, and the horizon expands until the solar system itself becomes a small island of light in an ocean of interstellar darkness. In this far, cold region, you begin to understand something essential. Space travel is not about reaching a destination. It is about witnessing the scale of existence, layer by layer, until the mind finally opens enough to hold it. As your spacecraft drifts toward the outermost edges of the solar system, a subtle transformation begins, not in the stars, not in the planets, but in the invisible forces surrounding you. The sunlight, once warm and familiar, has weakened to a pale echo of itself. It no longer feels like a presence, but a memory, a gentle reminder of the world you left behind. Photons arrive here sparsely, traveling billions of kilometers through cold emptiness to touch your spacecraft with the faintest whisper of energy. The solar system feels stretched thin, its heartbeat slower, and you realize that you are approaching one of the most mysterious and consequential thresholds in all of space travel, the heliopause. The heliopause marks the boundary where the sun's protective bubble, the heliosphere, can no longer push back against the interstellar medium. Within the heliosphere, solar wind flows outward, carrying charged particles that shape magnetic fields and shield planets from cosmic radiation. But at this outer edge, billions of kilometers from Earth, the solar wind slows, compresses, and finally surrenders. What lies ahead is not emptiness, but a shift in cosmic weather. The universe ceases to be shaped by your star and begins to be shaped by the galaxy itself. You are leaving home, not the planet, not the solar system, but the sun's final reach. As you cross this threshold, instruments detect a change in the very texture of space. High-energy cosmic rays increase. Magnetic fields twist into unfamiliar patterns. Particles that were once deflected now pass through effortlessly. The boundary is invisible to the eye, yet unmistakable in its consequences. It is as if the spacecraft has drifted through a silent curtain, an unseen membrane separating two different cosmic environments. This crossing is not an event humanity experiences on Earth. It is something only deep space travelers witness. And in this moment, you understand that space is not one continuous void. It is a mosaic of domains, each governed by its own physics. Beyond the heliopause lies the interstellar medium, a vast expanse of gas, dust, and ancient radiation. It is unimaginably sparse, far emptier than any vacuum humans can create, yet it shapes the galaxy's evolution over billions of years. Hydrogen atoms drift through it like solitary grains in a cosmic desert. Cold molecular clouds collapse into new stars. Shockwaves from supernovae ripple through its vastness, carving cavities and sculpting nebulae. From here, the sun is just one star among hundreds of billions, its light no more significant than a distant lantern glowing through fog. Perspective shifts again. You are no longer a traveler in a solar system. You are a traveler in a galaxy. Interstellar space is not silent. It vibrates with low-frequency electromagnetic waves. It glows faintly with starlight spread across unimaginable distances. It carries the remnants of ancient collisions, the subtle dynamism of drifting atoms, and the echoes of exploding stars. To human eyes, it appears black. To instruments, it is alive with signals, spectral fingerprints of molecules, radio pulses from neutron stars, the delicate glow of ionized hydrogen marking spiral arms like cosmic roadways. As the spacecraft continues outward, you sense that you are drifting not into emptiness, but into the texture of the Milky Way. In this profound quiet, the scale of your journey expands once more. You are now beyond the reach of planets, beyond the solar wind, beyond the warmth of the Sunday. Everything familiar is behind you. Ahead lies a realm where distances are measured in light years, where travel is not movement but endurance, and where time feels less like a progression and more like a landscape you drift through. the realization settles gently, almost softly. Space travel is not just a voyage outward, it is a passage into deeper forms of perspective, a slow unfolding of the truth that the universe is far larger, far older, and far more intricate than human senses can ever fully grasp. As your spacecraft advances into interstellar space, a new kind of quiet emerges, one far deeper than the silence you experienced near Earth. This is not the absence of sound, it is the absence of reference. The sun is now a distant point, its warmth too faint to influence you, its light too weak to cast a meaningful glow. Stars around you appear fixed, unmoving, arranged like crystalline patterns etched into the fabric of the void. Without atmospheric distortion, their starlight arrives pure, sharp, untouched by turbulence. In this silence between the stars, you begin to sense a truth that Earth could never reveal. Space is not empty, it is simply patient. Even here, light continues its ancient journey. Every photon that touches your eyes began its voyage long before human civilization existed. Some left their stars before Earth had oceans. Others began their journey when dinosaurs roamed the planet. Starlight becomes a kind of time machine, each point a relic, each glow a preserved moment from a distant past. Traveling through space is traveling through the memory of the universe. Each star, a diary entry written in fire. The deeper you drift, the more you feel the weight of cosmic history pressing gently against your awareness. Between these stars lies a medium so thin it would be imperceptible on Earth, yet on cosmic scales it shapes the galaxy's evolution. Wisps of hydrogen drift through the void, remnants of ancient supernovae float like spectral dust, and faint electromagnetic waves ripple through the darkness like the universe breathing. Occasionally, your instruments catch the signature of fast radio bursts, powerful flashes of energy from distant galaxies, lasting only milliseconds, yet visible across millions of light years. They appear without warning, vanish instantly, and leave behind only questions. Out here, mystery is not rare, it is constant. The spacecraft continues forward, and slowly you begin to feel distance in a way impossible on Earth. Not the distance between physical objects, but the distance between scales of meaning. Light hours become light days become light months. Human metaphors collapse. Our measurements, our instincts, our sense of motion all dissolve. The universe does not rush. It does not progress. It simply is. And in the stillness, you realize that the journey is reshaping your perception, not just of space, but of time itself. Motion no longer feels like speed. It feels like surrender to immensity. In this vast quiet, the mind adapts. Thoughts stretch out, becoming slower, gentler, as if echoing the rhythm of interstellar space. The usual boundaries between self and environment soften. You begin to sense yourself as not separate from the cosmos, but woven into it, made of the same atoms, shaped by the same forces, guided by the same laws. What once felt like solitude now feels like integration. Space travel reveals a profound paradox. The farther you move from Earth, the closer you feel to the universe. And then comes the realization that transforms everything. Here, between the stars, you are not merely traveling through space, you are traveling through possibility. The possibility that life exists elsewhere. The possibility that worlds beyond imagination orbit suns you have yet to approach. the possibility that humanity's story is only a chapter in a much larger cosmic narrative. In this silent sea of starlight, the universe feels vast, ancient, and unknowable, yet somehow quietly welcoming. As your spacecraft drifts deeper into the interstellar ocean, the human sense of distance becomes almost meaningless. There are no landmarks, no horizons, no changing winds or shifting terrains to guide intuition. Instead, the journey is measured in the gradual shifting of starlight, in the slow rearrangement of constellations that once felt permanent and eternal. Out here, the familiar shapes of Orion, Cassiopeia, and the Pleiades stretch and distort, revealing themselves not as patterns but as arbitrary alignments of stars separated by impossible distances. With each passing week, the sky becomes a subtle record of motion. Your motion, the sun's motion, the galaxy's motion. It is a quiet reminder that even in stillness, you are part of an immense and continuous cosmic flow. As you move farther from the sun, its gravitational pull weakens to the point where the spacecraft becomes a wanderer among greater forces. Interstellar space is not governed by a single celestial body. It is a vast, shared territory dominated by the collective mass of the Milky Way. Gravity here does not point in one direction. It spreads, diffuses, blends into the background structure of the galaxy's spiral arms. The spacecraft glides through an environment where millions of stars subtly tug on it, their combined pull forming an almost imperceptible but ever-present guidance. It is a place where gravity becomes less of a downward force and more of a gentle, multi-directional whisper shaping your path across the void. Instruments continue to scan the darkness for signals, revealing the hidden textures of interstellar space. Clouds of cold molecular hydrogen drift silently, vast yet diffuse, forming the raw material from which new stars will someday ignite. Cosmic rays, high-energy particles born in the violent explosions of ancient supernovae, graze the hull with silent precision, carrying with them the memory of cataclysmic events that occurred long before Earth existed. Occasionally, the spacecraft crosses regions where dust grains scatter faint starlight, creating barely visible glimmers that shimmer like distant fog illuminated by ghostly lanterns. These subtle optical signatures trace the skeleton of the galaxy, giving you a glimpse into the immense cycles of creation and destruction unfolding across millions of years. Over time, a shift begins within your mind. The rhythms of earthly life, day and night, noise and quiet, urgency and rest lose their meaning. Without a rising sun or setting horizon, time becomes fluid, stretching across long periods of contemplation. Thoughts move differently in this environment. They expand into the silence, pausing between ideas as if listening to the universe itself. The absence of sensory overload sharpens your awareness. You notice patterns in the stars, fluctuations in instrument panels, the gentle pulse of the spacecraft's systems. Space does not dull the mind, it refines it. The vast emptiness around you becomes a mirror, reflecting your awareness back at you in its most elemental form. And as you settle into this meditative drift, a deeper understanding emerges. The universe is not empty at all, it is spacious. The difference is subtle but profound. Emptiness implies lack. Spaciousness implies possibility. Between each star lies a domain ripe with unknowns, a place where life could arise, where worlds could form, where intelligence might evolve in forms completely foreign to human imagination. You begin to realize that interstellar travel is not only a scientific endeavor, but an existential one. It confronts you with the true scale of creation and invites you to imagine what might be waiting beyond the limits of current knowledge. The silence is no longer a void, but a canvas on which the future of exploration is painted. This is the heart of the interstellar journey, a place where scale, time, and meaning dissolve into something larger, something that humbles and expands the mind simultaneously. Out here, the galaxy becomes not an object to observe, but a presence to inhabit. And as your spacecraft continues drifting through this immense and ancient corridor between the stars, you feel a sense of belonging not to one planet, but to the cosmos itself. As the spacecraft continues its drift through interstellar space, you begin to sense the profound stillness that defines the galaxy's vast interior. This stillness is not the absence of motion, but the absence of interruption. It is a silence uninterrupted by weather, terrain, or atmosphere, a silence so complete that it feels like a presence of its own. In this immense quiet, every small detail becomes magnified. The distant pulse of a neutron star captured by instruments, the faint glow of a red dwarf barely bright enough to register on the sensors, the occasional flicker of a cosmic ray impacting the hull. The universe reveals itself slowly here, not through sudden discoveries, but through the gentle accumulation of subtle signs. As the journey deepens, your perception of stars changes. From Earth, stars appear close together, scattered across the night sky like glitter on a dark canvas. But out here, you begin to understand their true separations. Light years stretch between them, distances so vast the mind struggles to hold them. Each star is a solitary island of fire, floating in an ocean of near-perfect darkness. The space between them is not emptiness, but an expanse shaped by gravity, radiation, and time. And as light travels through this space, it carries with it ancient stories, the collapse of a star into a black hole, the shockwave of a long-forgotten supernova, the quiet formation of planets still cooling around their newborn suns. Out here, every photon becomes a message. Occasionally, the spacecraft passes through regions where dust and gas grow denser, forming the outskirts of nebulae cosmic nurseries where new stars will ignite. These clouds do not glow as they do in telescopic photographs. To the naked eye, they appear as faint veils of darkness, blocking starlight in irregular patterns. But infrared instruments reveal their inner structures, filaments twisting like cosmic smoke, pockets of gravitational collapse, regions where temperature and density shift in delicate gradients. These nebulae remind you that the galaxy is alive, evolving on a scale far beyond human timescales. The long night of the galaxy is not a void, it is the stage on which creation slowly unfolds. As time stretches forward, your awareness adapts to the new environment. The absence of earthly rhythms brings a strange clarity. Without sunrise or sunset, without noise or interruption, thoughts expand to fill the silence. You begin to feel the subtle motion of the spacecraft, not with your body but with your intuition, a drifting awareness of trajectory, speed, and orientation. Space travel becomes less of a physical journey and more of a meditative one. The boundaries of identity soften, the sense of self becomes larger, quieter, more spacious. It is as though the mind itself is adjusting to the scale of the galaxy, no longer confined to the tight patterns of Earth, but unfolding into a more cosmic rhythm. Yet within this calm, a deeper realization grows. Humanity has barely taken its first steps beyond its home star. The galaxy contains hundreds of billions of suns, each with worlds orbiting in silent arcs. Some may be barren, some may be beautiful, some may carry oceans, atmospheres, or perhaps life waiting to be discovered. The enormity of that possibility settles into your thoughts like a gentle weight. You are drifting through a sea of potential, each star a candidate for future exploration, each system a question waiting to be asked. It becomes clear that space travel is not merely about reaching distant places. It is about expanding the boundaries of what humanity can imagine. And as your spacecraft continues through the long night of the galaxy, you feel the universe opening around you not as a void, but as a promise. A promise that beyond every horizon lies another. A promise that there is always more to discover. And above all, a promise that the journey itself is the most profound destination. As your journey carries you deeper into the interstellar expanse, a subtle but profound shift occurs in how you perceive starlight. No longer does it feel like a distant backdrop, static and decorative. Instead, it becomes a living fabric woven with countless variations in color, temperature, and age. Stars of different classes reveal themselves with quiet clarity. The cool red glow of ancient dwarfs, the blue brilliance of massive young suns burning their fuel at furious rates, the golden balance of stars like your own Sunday, each one hums with a frequency of its own, radiating patterns shaped by magnetic storms, surface convection, and nuclear fusion. In this boundless quiet, the light from each star feels like a whisper, a distant sun telling the story of its life across the emptiness. As instruments gather spectral data, the true richness of these stars becomes visible. Hydrogen lines deepen and broaden, showing the density of stellar atmospheres. Helium signatures reveal internal pressure. Infrared patterns hint at orbiting dust, young worlds forming in embryonic tapestries of gas. You begin to understand that starlight is not merely illumination, it is information, encoded in wavelengths that travel for centuries or millennia before reaching your senses. Every star becomes a library of physical laws, a cosmic archive that documents the evolution of celestial bodies. The farther you drift from the sun, the more these distant voices dominate your sky, until they feel like the true environment you inhabit rather than the emptiness you pass through. Occasionally, the spacecraft glides near regions where interstellar gas clouds interact with starlight in complex ways, creating faint red or violet glows that shimmer almost imperceptibly. These ionization fronts are the signatures of star formation, areas where ultraviolet radiation strips electrons from atoms, shaping vast cosmic sculptures that will one day birth new suns. The sight of such regions evokes a sense of profound continuity, stars forming, shining, and dying in cycles far older than Earth. You begin to recognize that space is not a static void but a living system, evolving across scales so vast that they transcend human intuition. Here, time is not measured in years but in epochs, cosmic ages unfolding quietly in the background. Within this immensity, the loneliness you expected never arrives. Instead, there is a sense of presence of being surrounded by countless worlds, even if you cannot yet see them. The knowledge that each star may host planets, some icy and barren, others warm and fertile, transforms the darkness into a field of potential. You imagine oceans beneath the clouds of distant exoplanets, winds shifting across alien mountains, atmospheres glowing faintly under unfamiliar suns. Even without direct observation, The mind begins to paint landscapes based on the physics you understand. This is the quiet gift of interstellar travel. The universe becomes not just a place, but a possibility, expanding your imagination with every passing light year. Meanwhile, the spacecraft continues its steady progress through the void, its systems maintaining a fragile sanctuary amid the cosmic silence. You grow increasingly aware of how thin the barrier is between human life and the vacuum beyond, how much trust is placed in the engineering that holds your atmosphere, filters your oxygen, and shields you from radiation. Yet rather than feeling vulnerable, you feel integrated into the machinery of exploration. Your vessel becomes an extension of your senses, a durable cocoon carrying human curiosity into places evolution never intended the species to reach. It is a reminder that humanity travels not with muscle or instinct, but with imagination. Imagination strong enough to cross distances that once existed only in myth. And as you gaze again at the starfield beyond the windows, something shifts in your perception. The stars no longer seem remote, they seem reachable. Not in the span of one human life perhaps, but within the life of a species determined to expand its horizon. You realize that space travel is not merely the act of moving through the galaxy, it is the act of joining it, of becoming part of a cosmic story that began billions of years before humanity opened its eyes. As you continue your slow drift through interstellar space, the galaxy begins revealing patterns that were invisible from within the solar system. The stars are no longer random points scattered across a dark canvas. Instead, they form subtle structures, gradients, clusters, voids that arise from gravitational interactions on colossal scales. You begin to sense the hidden geometry of the Milky Way, a complex architecture of spiral arms, stellar nurseries, and dark corridors sculpted by the distribution of mass and the flow of cosmic dust. Even though you cannot see the grand spiral from this vantage point, its influence is everywhere. Star density rises and falls in gentle waves, like the breath of the galaxy itself, guiding your path through currents of invisible structure. The spacecraft's instruments translate these patterns into measurable data, revealing the gravitational pull of nearby star groups, the faint glow of distant nebulae, and the subtle tidal forces that ripple across light years. These tidal fields are so weak that the human body does not feel them, yet their long-term effects shape the orbits of stars, the drift of interstellar clouds, and even the boundaries of dark matter halos enveloping the galaxy. Out here, gravity becomes a slow sculptor, patient and enduring. You realize that the universe evolves not through sudden motion, but through long, graceful shifts that unfold across millions of years. Time itself feels different in this environment, stretched into a scale where change becomes almost imperceptible. Passing through a region of slightly higher dust density, the starlight entering your cabin takes on a warmer hue, filtered by microscopic grains that scatter blue wavelengths more strongly than red. It is a reminder that even the faintest particles drifting in the galaxy have influence, altering color, dimming brightness, and shaping what the eye perceives. These dust clouds, though delicate, are the raw ingredients of creation. Over enough time, gravity will gather them into dense knots, where temperatures rise and nuclear fusion ignites. Every star you see, every world that may exist around them, began in such a cloud. Drifting through this subtle haze feels like passing through the ashes and future seeds of stellar generations. As your mind settles into the rhythm of the journey, the vastness no longer intimidates, it becomes contemplative. You find yourself studying the star field the way someone might study waves on an endless shore, not seeking patterns but absorbing their presence. The boundaries between scientific observation and quiet reflection blur. You begin to see not just stars but relationships, binary pairs locked in gravitational dance, clusters migrating slowly through the galaxy, lonely suns wandering the void without companions. These dynamics unfold silently across billions of years, and yet you witness them in a single moment. Space travel compresses cosmic time into human awareness, allowing you to sense epochs without needing to live through them. It is here, surrounded by this sprawling stellar architecture, that you grasp the profound interconnectedness of the universe. Everything is in motion. Stars drift, galaxies rotate, dark matter anchors invisible frameworks, and gravity binds the cosmos into vast, elegant structures. Nothing is isolated. Not you, not the spacecraft, not a single star in the sky. The galaxy is a single organism made of countless luminous cells, each contributing to the shape of the whole. And in this realization, something shifts quietly inside you, a sense of belonging, not to Earth alone, but to the grand cosmic network that extends through the dark. The journey becomes less about distance and more about understanding your place in a universe that is far more intricate than human eyes were ever meant to see. In this moment, floating between stars, embraced by the galaxy's invisible geometry, you understand that you are not just traveling through space. You are traveling through structure, through order, through a cosmic design written in the language of gravity and light. And the more you drift, the more clearly that design reveals itself. As your spacecraft drifts deeper into the galaxy, the stars ahead begin to reveal faint fluctuations, tiny dips in brightness so subtle that human eyes alone could never detect them. These fluctuations, captured by sensitive photometric instruments, mark the silent passage of exoplanets crossing their host stars. Each dip is like a heartbeat, a gentle pulse announcing the presence of a distant world. Out here, where darkness stretches endlessly in every direction, these signals become milestones, reminders that the galaxy is not merely a field of stars but a system of countless planetary families. Each world orbits in its quiet rhythm, some scorched by intense starlight, others locked in darkness, and a precious few lingering in the delicate zones where liquid water might form a whisper of habitability within unimaginable distances. As the spacecraft continues onward, spectral analysis of starlight becomes your window into these invisible worlds. Molecules in their atmospheres leave fingerprints, oxygen, methane, water vapor etched into the stellar light they filter. You find yourself reading these signatures as though deciphering ancient inscriptions, each one hinting at the chemical possibility of life. Some stars show atmospheres thick with hydrogen, marking young gaseous planets still cooling from formation. Others reveal carbon-rich compounds, suggesting exotic surfaces and alien climates. A few contain the tantalizing hints of complex chemistry patterns that do not guarantee life but open the door to the possibility. It becomes clear that the galaxy is not silent. It speaks in data, in wavelength, in the delicate physics carried by light across unimaginable distance. Occasionally, your trajectory passes through regions where gravitational microlensing events occur, moments when the gravity of a star or planet bends the light of a background star, magnifying it like a cosmic lens. These temporary brightenings allow you to glimpse objects far too dim or distant to be seen by any other method. The event lasts only hours or days, yet it can reveal entire planetary systems in a single burst of clarity. Seeing such phenomena firsthand reshapes your understanding of the universe. Space itself becomes an instrument, gravity a tool that transforms the galaxy into a vast observatory capable of revealing its own secrets. In the long silence of interstellar travel, these discoveries take on a new emotional dimension. Each newly detected world becomes a small beacon of possibility, a reminder that the galaxy may be filled with landscapes, climates, and ecosystems that the human mind has yet to imagine. Some planets may be enveloped in perpetual twilight beneath red dwarf stars. Others may host storms of liquid methane or oceans stretching beneath icy crusts. And somewhere, perhaps orbiting a distant sun in a quiet corner of the galaxy, there may be worlds where life has taken root, flourishing in forms shaped by alien physics and unfamiliar pressures. The realization settles into your thoughts like a slow-moving tide. If life can exist on Earth, shaped by our star and our chemistry, then life could exist elsewhere, shaped by theirs. As your mind drifts with the steady hum of the spacecraft, the idea of extraterrestrial life no longer feels speculative or theoretical. It feels statistically inevitable. The galaxy is too vast, too ancient, too dynamic for life to be a singular event. Whether microbial or intelligent, simple or complex, life may fill niches across the universe just as it does on Earth. You find yourself imagining not only the possibility of organisms on distant planets, but the profound implications of encountering intelligent civilizations shaped by different histories, different senses, different interpretations of the cosmos. The thought does not inspire fear but humility, a sense that humanity is a young species in a much older and vastly interconnected cosmic community. And in the quiet glow of the starfield, surrounded by the ghost light of unseen worlds, you realize that the purpose of your journey is evolving. It is no longer just a voyage through space. It is a search for context, for companionship in the cosmic dark, for understanding the larger story that Earth is only a chapter of. Space travel, in this moment, becomes not a scientific endeavor alone, but a philosophical one, an exploration of possibility, identity, and destiny across the infinite landscape of the galaxy. As your spacecraft travels deeper into the galaxy's expanse, the interstellar medium reveals itself not as empty darkness, but as a subtle, dynamic environment shaped by the delicate interplay of gas, dust, radiation, and gravity. Though the density is astonishingly low, far lower than any vacuum achievable on Earth, the particles that drift here are part of a continuous cosmic tapestry. Hydrogen atoms wander through the void like solitary travelers, occasionally clustering into vast molecular clouds that stretch across light years. These clouds, barely visible to human eyes, become luminous under infrared observation, their faint glow revealing pockets of density where the earliest stages of star formation quietly unfold. The interstellar medium, once thought to be barren, becomes a living landscape of slow creation. As your instruments survey this environment, they detect the soft hum of cosmic rays that sweep through the galaxy like invisible currents. These high-energy particles originate from violent events, supernova shocks, black hole accretion disks, and the chaotic edges of magnetized nebulae. They cross incredible distances, moving nearly at the speed of light, carrying with them the signatures of the processes that forged them. When these particles interact with dust, grains, or magnetic fields, they produce faint electromagnetic ripples, subtle vibrations in the vast dark. Listening to these cosmic murmurs feels like eavesdropping on the heartbeat of the galaxy itself, an endless pulse that predates humanity by billions of years. Occasionally, the spacecraft passes through ionized regions where supernova remnants expand like ghostly bubbles. These remnants are delicate and transparent, composed of atoms stripped of electrons by ancient explosions. Their boundaries drift quietly through space, sculpted into intricate filaments by magnetic fields and shock waves. Although no longer luminous to the naked eye, these structures remain energetically active, shaping the motion of nearby material and enriching the interstellar medium with heavy elements. Everything that makes life possible, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, iron, was forged in such cosmic furnaces. As you drift through these remnants, you are moving through the ashes of stars that died long before Earth was born, yet whose remnants travel inside your own cells. Farther along your voyage, variations in density reveal immense voids, cosmic cavities where matter is sparse and radiation travels unimpeded. In these regions, the darkness deepens into something nearly absolute. The stars appear more distant, their light more fragile, as if stretched thin by the immensity of the space between them. Your spacecraft moves through these silent chasms like a solitary thought drifting across an unending dream. Yet even here, hidden forces remain at work. Gravitational tides tug gently on your trajectory, and faint magnetic fields arc across the emptiness in elegantly curved lines. These voids remind you that space, even at its quietest, is alive with structure. With each passing light year, the concept of isolation evolves. What might have felt empty or lonely at the beginning of your journey now feels expansive, open, almost comforting. The interstellar medium's quiet rhythms shape your internal experience, teaching you to perceive subtle gradients of density, faint shifts in starlight, and the slow drift of cosmic structures. You begin to sense the galaxy not as a collection of separate objects, but as a single, interconnected ecosystem, one where stars are born, shine, and die, and where their ashes seed the next generation of celestial bodies. This continuous cycle unfolds around you, timeless and patient. And in this profound stillness, a new understanding emerges. Space travel is not a passage through emptiness. It is participation in a cosmic process billions of years in motion. The galaxy is not something you observe from the outside, it is something you move through, something that shapes you, something you belong to. Drifting through the interstellar medium becomes a meditation on existence itself, a reminder that everything in the universe, every atom, every star, every thought arises from the same ancient origins. As your spacecraft drifts deeper into the Milky Way, you begin to perceive the galaxy not just as a field of stars, but as a vast network of gravitational currents, cosmic rivers flowing across thousands of light years. These currents are invisible to the eye, yet their influence is unmistakable. They guide the orbits of stars, shape the paths of interstellar clouds, and subtly redirect the movement of your own vessel. Gravity becomes less of a downward pull and more of a directional flow, an unseen architecture that charts the motion of everything within it. You feel as though you are navigating through the veins of a living organism, drifting along pathways carved by forces older than the galaxy itself. The concept of straight-line travel becomes meaningless out here. A spacecraft does not move through empty space. It moves through a dynamic tapestry shaped by the gravitational influence of billions of stars, clusters, and dark matter halos. Even the dark matter, completely invisible, undetectable except through its gravitational pull, forms immense scaffolding beneath the galaxy's luminous structure. Your instruments detect slight anomalies in motion, tiny accelerations and decelerations that cannot be explained by visible mass alone. These subtle deviations are the fingerprints of dark matter, reminding you that most of the galaxy's substance remains unseen. Traveling through this region is like navigating a landscape hidden beneath mist. Only the effects can be felt, never the source. As you near a dense region of stars, gravitational interactions become stronger and more complex. Here, stellar clusters glide through space like luminous schools of fish, their members bound together by a shared gravitational pulse. Some are ancient globular clusters containing stars older than the galaxy's spiral arms. Others are younger associations, where bright blue stars burn hot and fast before ending in spectacular supernovae. Moving through these regions feels like drifting into cosmic neighborhoods, each with its own rhythms, densities, and histories. Light becomes richer here, more varied, as the combined radiance of many stars washes over the spacecraft with a glow far brighter than in the lonely expanses behind you. Passing through one such cluster, your sensors detect the rhythmic gravitational waves generated by distant binary stars, compact objects such as neutron stars or black holes orbiting each other with unimaginable speed. These waves ripple through space-time itself, stretching and compressing distances by fractions of an atom. They are subtle, nearly imperceptible, yet they carry incredible power, signals from collisions that occurred thousands or even millions of years ago. Listening to them feels like hearing the deep, resonant voice of the universe, a voice that speaks not in sound but in the bending of space-time. It is a reminder that the cosmos is not silent at all. It simply communicates in frequencies the human senses cannot detect. And yet, for all its complexity, the galaxy maintains a kind of graceful order. Stars orbit the galactic center with remarkable synchrony, forming a rotating disk that has persisted for billions of years. Even rogue objects, wandering black holes, orphaned planets, ancient stellar remnants, ultimately bend to the galaxy's overarching structure. This order is not rigid but harmonious, shaped by forces that balance chaos and stability across unimaginable timescales. As your spacecraft continues to drift along these gravitational rivers, you begin to appreciate the profound elegance of the universe. Nothing is still, yet nothing is random. Everything participates in a vast, interconnected motion. In this realization, you feel a shift inside yourself. Space travel becomes more than exploration. It becomes understanding. Understanding that gravity is not merely a force but a language, a way the universe tells its story through motion and form. Understanding that the stars are not isolated beacons but threads in a cosmic web. And understanding that your journey is not through emptiness, but through a dynamic, living structure shaped by the deepest laws of nature. The farther you drift, the more the galaxy reveals itself not as a mystery to be solved, but as a truth to be experienced. As your journey carries you deeper into the Milky Way, you begin to sense a faint brightening ahead, not a sudden glare, but a slow accumulation of light, as though the darkness itself were gradually warming. This glow is not from a single star, but from the collective radiance of millions, all densely packed within the galactic core. Even from thousands of light years away, the core begins to reveal its presence as a soft, diffuse shimmer woven through the black. It is the heart of the galaxy, a region where stars are born, collide, merge, and die with a frequency unmatched in the spiral arms. The further you travel, the more this ancient light paints the edges of your field of vision, subtle yet unmistakable. As your instruments study the light, they reveal its extraordinary complexity. The glow that appears soft to the eye is, in reality, a kaleidoscope of wavelengths: infrared radiation from warm dust, X-rays from energetic stellar remnants, and the steady, luminous output of billions of tightly clustered suns. The density of stars in the core is so immense that in some regions, a spacecraft like yours would find night nearly impossible. Starlight would wash across every surface in a constant shimmering haze. This environment has shaped the evolution of star systems for eons, creating neighborhoods where gravitational interactions are so frequent that planetary orbits can be disrupted, worlds can be flung into interstellar space, and stars can merge in spectacular displays of cosmic violence. As you travel toward this region, the gravitational pull of the core becomes subtly perceptible, not as a force that tugs you suddenly, but as a gentle bias in your trajectory, a natural tendency for all objects in the galaxy to curve toward its massive concentration of stars and dark matter. At the center of this gravitational well lies Sagittarius A*, a supermassive black hole with a mass millions of times that of the Sunday. From this distance, it is invisible, yet its presence is felt everywhere, in the orbital dance of stars whipping around it at incredible speeds, in the flow of gas spiraling inward, and in the faint radio waves emitted by its surrounding accretion disk. You begin to appreciate that black holes are not voids but engines that regulate galactic structure through the simplest yet most powerful law in the universe: gravity. Occasionally, your trajectory brings the spacecraft near ancient star clusters moving toward the core in slow, elegant arcs. These stars are older than Earth, older than the spiral arms themselves. Their atmospheres contain the chemical signatures of early cosmic eras, forged before heavy elements were widespread. Observing them feels like touching the early history of the galaxy, glimpsing the conditions that existed long before the sun was born. Many of these stars are red giants nearing the end of their lives, shedding their outer layers into delicate nebulae that drift like glowing petals in the darkness. Each nebula is a cosmic echo, a brief celebration before the star's core collapses into a white dwarf, a final ember in the long story of stellar evolution. As the subtle glow of the core grows stronger, it begins to cast a psychological effect. You feel less like you are drifting through emptiness and more like you are approaching a vast celestial metropolis. Every pinpoint of light is a star with its own history, its own orbit, its own potential worlds. The scale becomes overwhelming, yet profoundly humbling. You begin to understand why ancient cultures looked to the sky and sensed divinity. The galaxy, seen from within, carries a sacred magnitude. Here, in the quiet of interstellar travel, the core feels like the beating heart of a living cosmic organism. And in this moment, a deeper realization forms. The closer you come to the galactic center, the clearer the universe's evolutionary story becomes. Every star, every cloud, every grain of dust participates in a process billions of years in motion. Space travel transforms from observation into immersion. You are not just studying the galaxy, you are moving through its memory, drifting within a structure defined by creation, destruction, and rebirth on unimaginable scales. As your spacecraft drifts ever closer to the galactic core, the density of starlight increases to a level almost unimaginable from the quiet outskirts of the spiral arms. Space, which once felt vast and sparsely populated, now takes on the character of a luminous sea. The number of visible stars multiplies with each passing light year, until their overlapping radiance begins to blur into a soft glow that fills the darkness. It is no longer a sky dotted with isolated points of light, but a continuous tapestry woven from the radiance of countless suns. Here, in this crowded stellar environment, you sense the galaxy's heartbeat more vividly than ever before. A slow, powerful rhythm shaped by gravitational tides and the cycles of star birth and death. Entering this region reveals an astonishing diversity of stellar types. Massive blue giants burn with fierce intensity, shedding enormous amounts of energy while living only a fraction as long as smaller stars. Red giants expand into vast, swollen spheres nearing the final stages of their lives. Neutron stars, born from collapsed supernova cores, release pulses of radio waves that sweep across space like the ticking of cosmic clocks. And scattered among them are star-forming nebulae, colossal clouds of gas and dust illuminated from within by the youngest stars, their brilliant ultraviolet light carving elegant patterns across the surrounding material. Each of these processes unfolds simultaneously, creating a cosmic ecosystem where birth and destruction coexist in a delicate balance. As your instruments examine these nebulae, they reveal regions of incredible complexity. Filaments of gas stretch across light years, sculpted by shockwaves from nearby supernovae. Compressed pockets of dust collapse under their own gravity, forming protostars surrounded by spinning accretion disks. Within these disks, microscopic grains collide and merge, beginning the long and fragile process that may one day lead to the formation of planets. Witnessing this from deep space transforms your understanding of the universe. Creation is not a rare event, but a continuous, natural process occurring on scales too vast for human intuition to grasp. The galaxy is a forged constant, tireless, and unimaginably ancient. Traveling through this region also means encountering the forces that shape stellar death. Occasionally, your sensors detect the distant ultraviolet surge of a supernova shockwave spreading across space like an expanding wall of energy. These explosions enrich the surrounding medium with heavy elements, carbon, oxygen, iron ingredients essential for forming planets and life. Every atom in your body, every molecule in your spacecraft, was forged in such environments billions of years ago. Drifting through the core's chaotic brilliance becomes an introspective experience, a reminder that life is interwoven with cosmic processes that precede its existence. Space travel shifts from exploration into recognition that you are made of the universe, moving through the very furnace that created your materials. Yet, even within this grandeur, a silent tension persists. The closer you move toward the galactic nucleus, the more extreme the gravitational environment becomes. Stars orbit with astonishing speeds, some whipping around invisible points with such precision that only one explanation remains: the presence of the supermassive black hole at the galaxy's center. You cannot see it directly, but you feel its influence in the motion of everything around you. Gas clouds stretch and twist under tidal forces. Stellar orbits become tight and eccentric. Even the ambient space takes on a different character, as though the fabric of reality itself grows subtly tense. Moving closer is like drifting toward the core of a storm, not chaotic, but intensely ordered by forces stronger than anything encountered elsewhere. And within this structured intensity, you feel the universe teaching you something profound. Chaos and order are not opposites, but partners. The galaxy is not random. It is self-organizing, guided by the simplest principles of gravity, energy, and time. You begin to see that every star, every nebula, every orbiting world exists because the universe allows no waste. Every collapse leads to formation. Every death paves the way for rebirth. As you glide deeper into the luminous heart of the Milky Way, the feeling grows stronger that you are witnessing the universe not from the outside, but from within its living core. As your spacecraft continues its slow, deliberate drift toward the galactic center, the motions of the stars around you begin to change in ways both subtle and profound. They no longer glide across space at modest, predictable speeds. Instead, their orbits tighten, their accelerations increase, and their paths curve sharply around an unseen focal point, one that exerts influence far beyond its visibility. Even before your instruments confirm it, you know what lies ahead. The domain of Sagittarius A*, the supermassive black hole that anchors the Milky Way. Though hidden behind veils of dust and gas, its presence shapes everything here. Space itself feels denser, more dynamic, as though the gravity well extends its influence like a silent tide across light years. The closer you move toward this region, the more extreme the environment becomes. Stars whip around the center at thousands of kilometers per second, completing orbits that would take centuries elsewhere in only a few human decades. These stars, known as stars, trace near-perfect arcs that reveal the mass of the invisible object at the center, 4 million times the mass of the Sun, compressed into a single point. Observing them feels like watching celestial dancers perform a choreography written by gravity itself, precise, elegant, and relentless. Each orbit is a testament to the profound curvature of space-time, to the power of a black hole you cannot see yet, can unmistakably feel. As your sensors deepen their scans, they reveal streams of gas spiraling toward the black hole material drawn inward by tidal forces, heated to millions of degrees as it accelerates. These gas streams emit intense X-rays and infrared light, though much of it is obscured by intervening dust. Occasionally, fluctuations appear, flares that brighten and fade as clumps of matter plunge closer to the event horizon, their energy radiated outward before crossing the point of no return. These flares are brief, lasting only minutes or hours, yet they illuminate the inner workings of a phenomenon that defies ordinary intuition. Here, physics pushes toward its limits, where gravity becomes so intense that time and space distort dramatically. The deeper you drift into this gravitational domain, the more your instruments reflect the warping of space-time. Signals from distant sources arrive slightly shifted, stretched by gravitational redshift. Light paths curve subtly, bending around massive objects in ways imperceptible from the wild edges of the galaxy. Even the flow of time aboard your spacecraft diverges from time experienced by distant observers so faintly that only the most sensitive calculations could reveal it, yet undeniably altered by the gravitational potential. This is relativity not as an abstract theory, but as a lived experience, woven into every measurement you make. Space travel here becomes a lesson in the malleability of reality itself. And yet, despite the overwhelming forces, the region around the black hole is not chaotic. It is structured, ordered, defined by elegant mathematical relationships. Stars follow stable orbits, gas clouds form spirals, magnetic fields twist in coherent patterns. The danger is immense, but so is the beauty. You begin to understand that black holes are not destroyers, they are engines of cosmic architecture, maintaining balance in the galaxy through gravity's deepest expression. Without them, galaxies would not form as they do. Stars would not orbit as they must. The black hole at the center is not a threat to the galaxy, but its anchor, holding the entire structure in place. As your spacecraft stabilizes near a safe observational distance, you are struck by a profound sense of presence. You cannot see the black hole directly, yet its influence feels closer than any object you've encountered on this journey. It is a cosmic void defined not by absence but by power, a silent center around which billions of stars revolve. In its shadow, you sense the enormity of the universe, the complexity of its laws, and the delicate balance that sustains everything from the brightest supergiants to the faintest dust grains. Here, at the doorstep of the galaxy's heart, space travel transforms once again. It becomes not just exploration, not just observation, but contemplation, an encounter with one of the universe's most profound mysteries. And the deeper you look into this invisible darkness, the more clearly you see the structure, order, and beauty that define the cosmos. As your spacecraft holds its position near the galactic center, the region around Sagittarius A Times begins revealing layers of complexity invisible from the galaxy's outer arms. The black hole itself remains shrouded in perfect darkness, but the space around it flickers with activity. Streams of gas arc inward like luminous ribbons, spiraling ever closer to the threshold where no light can escape. The nearer this material falls, the hotter and brighter it becomes, until millions of degrees of heat radiate outward in violent flashes of X-ray and infrared light. These flares illuminate the turbulent environment like distant lightning storms, each one a testament to matter's final struggle against gravity's irresistible pull. As your instruments monitor the accretion disk, you begin to sense the profound order hidden within this apparent chaos. Gas follows precise, deeply curved trajectories, accelerating to a significant fraction of the speed of light. Friction and magnetic turbulence cause some of it to radiate outward, while the rest plunges inward, disappearing beyond the event horizon. This horizon is not a physical surface but a boundary in space-time, an invisible threshold marking the point where escape becomes impossible. The closer particles come to this edge, the more dramatically their paths warp, their signals redshift, and their time slows relative to the universe beyond. You are witnessing physics at its most extreme, a realm where classical intuition dissolves and the strange elegance of general relativity becomes tangible. The curvature of space-time in this region affects not only matter, but light itself. Photons grazing too close to the event horizon are trapped in precarious orbits, circling the black hole multiple times before escaping in unpredictable directions. This creates a faint, ghostly glow known as the photon ring, an optical echo produced by light that has taken tortured, looping paths before reaching your instruments. Although faint, the ring reveals the silhouette of the event horizon, a circular void surrounded by distorted brilliance. Observing it, is like watching the universe bend itself around a shadow, forming a natural frame for the deepest darkness known to physics. As your spacecraft continues to observe, gravitational lensing subtly reshapes your view of nearby stars. Light bends dramatically around the black hole, causing stars on the opposite side to appear displaced, magnified, or duplicated in ways that challenge your perception. The background field of starlight warps into arcs and rings, each one a real-time demonstration of space-time curvature. This region becomes a living experiment, a place where the universe performs its most intricate distortions openly and continuously. The beauty is overwhelming, not chaotic, not violent, but exquisitely precise. Every warped line of light is a whisper from the geometry of the cosmos, a mathematical truth written in luminosity. And yet, for all its intensity, the environment near the black hole possesses a strange serenity. The vacuum is quiet, the motions are predictable, the physics is exact. The violence happens at scales too vast or too compressed for the human body to sense. To you, drifting at a safe distance, the entire region feels like the calm eye at the center of a cosmic storm. The black hole exerts its authority not through noise or spectacle, but through stillness, an unwavering gravitational presence that holds the galaxy in its vast embrace. You begin to feel reverence, not fear, as though you are witnessing a fundamental truth about the universe, that all things, from stars to galaxies to atoms, are shaped by forces deeper than appearances can reveal. In this proximity to the event horizon, a final understanding settles in your thoughts. Black holes are not merely cosmic abysses, they are records of the universe's history, formed from the collapsed cores of ancient giants, grown by the slow accretion of matter across billions of years. They are memory and mechanism, silence and structure. And as your spacecraft drifts in this profound gravitational presence, you realize that space travel has brought you not just to the center of the galaxy, but to the threshold of the universe's greatest mystery, the place where space-time folds inward and where the laws of physics transition into the unknown. As your spacecraft hovers near the gravitational well of Sagittarius A*, the very concept of time begins to take on a new and unsettling clarity. Far from the black hole, time behaves as you have always known it: steady, consistent, predictable. But here, at the edge of this immense curvature in space-time, the flow of time itself becomes elastic. Clocks aboard your vessel tick more slowly than clocks in distant regions of the galaxy, their rhythms stretched by the immense gravitational potential. This discrepancy is so small it must be measured with extraordinary precision, yet it is undeniably real. You are experiencing time dilation firsthand, not as a theoretical idea, but as a physical truth woven into every second that passes. Your instruments record the light from stars near the event horizon as it shifts toward deeper red, stretched by gravity until it loses its familiar brightness. Matter spiraling inward flickers rapidly, yet the signals from these flares reach you elongated, their energetic pulses smeared across longer intervals. Time near the black hole runs differently, slower, heavier, more reluctant to move forward. The realization settles in your mind like a quiet revelation. Time is not universal. It is a local phenomenon, changed by mass, motion, and the geometry of the cosmos. In this region, space-time becomes a fabric you can almost feel, bending under the weight of the black hole's presence. As you continue to observe, a strange visual effect emerges. The region around the event horizon appears frozen in motion. gas swirling at near light speed seems to slow to a luminous crawl as it approaches the threshold. To an outside observer, nothing can be seen crossing the event horizon. The final moments of matter falling inward become stretched into eternity. This creates the illusion of a surface that traps not only light but time itself, a silent boundary at which the universe's forward progression hesitates. You begin to understand why black holes have long fascinated physicists. They are not simply gravitational objects, but laboratories where the fundamental rules of reality are tested to their extremes. In the deep quiet of space, your thoughts drift to the implications of this phenomenon. If time can slow, if it can stretch and compress according to gravity's influence, then the universe becomes a landscape where time flows differently in different regions. Stars near the core may age more slowly relative to stars in the outer arms. Objects orbiting near the event horizon experience a passage of time nearly imperceptible compared to observers far away. Even your own journey is shaped by this disparity. Though the changes are subtle, they accumulate across cosmic distances, meaning the galaxy you eventually return to would not be the galaxy you left. Space travel, when extended to such extremes, becomes not just a journey through distance, but a journey through differential time. Yet despite this distortion, an almost meditative quiet fills your cabin. The spacecraft's systems remain steady. The hum of life support a gentle reminder that you occupy a tiny bubble of stable space-time within one of the most volatile environments known to science. This stability feels almost miraculous. You are suspended between two realms, the familiar physics of everyday experience and the warping influence of a gravitational titan. And in this suspended moment, you sense that the experience transforms you subtly. Your understanding of reality expands, reshaped by first-hand exposure to a region where space-time curves so sharply that the boundary between existence and disappearance becomes razor-thin. The longer you remain here, the more deeply you feel the philosophical weight of the environment. Human time, measured in hours, days, years, feels insignificant compared to the cosmic clockwork unfolding before you. The black hole has existed for billions of years, consuming stars, bending light, influencing orbits, and shaping the evolution of the entire galaxy. It will continue to do so long after humanity has passed, long after the sun has faded, long after Earth has cooled. Standing in its time shadow, you confront the vastness of cosmic scales not with fear, but with awe. The universe is immense and ancient, yet it allows the brief flicker of human consciousness to witness its grandest structures. And in this moment, you understand something profound. Time is not a river flowing uniformly through the universe. It is a landscape, sculpted by gravity, stretched by velocity, and reshaped by the presence of mass. And here, at the brink of the event horizon, you are standing on one of its steepest slopes. As your spacecraft drifts away from the immediate influence of the event horizon, the surrounding space does not return to normal. It transitions into something broader, quieter, and more enigmatic. Behind you lies the gravitational storm of the galactic center, but before you stretches the vast interior of the Milky Way, an expanse with no signposts, no natural markers, no celestial boundary lines. Out here, direction becomes a relative concept, defined only by the subtle drift of stars across your field of view and the faint curvature of galactic structure. The region feels mapless, open, and infinite. It is a realm where the human idea of place begins to lose meaning, replaced instead by awareness of motion and the gentle pull of distant gravitational fields guiding your path through the deep. As you advance, the density of stars begins to ease, spreading into a more balanced, even distribution. The brilliance of the core dims behind you, receding into a golden haze, while the space ahead appears softer, quieter, but no less profound. The galaxy becomes a layered landscape of spiral arms, each one composed of billions of suns winding around the center like luminous rivers frozen in slow dance. You find yourself drifting between these arms through vast inter-arm regions where starlight grows sparse and the silence deepens. These void-like corridors are not empty. They are filled with faint gas, ancient dust, and the low-frequency murmur of cosmic radiation. They feel like the hallways of the galaxy, connecting its luminous chambers. As your sensors sweep the environment, they detect subtle shifts in the distribution of matter ripples caused by long-past gravitational encounters. These disturbances travel across light years, shaping the motions of stars and clouds in ways that unfold over millions of years. Even here, far from the galactic center, the gravitational influence of past interactions persists, like memories etched into space. Some of these ripples originate from dwarf galaxies that collided with the Milky Way long ago, leaving trails of stars stretched thin across the sky. Others come from massive molecular clouds drifting along the spiral arms, their sheer mass enough to distort the orbits of anything passing through their domain. You begin to see the galaxy not as a static structure, but as a living record of its own history. In this quieter region, the psychological landscape of the journey also shifts. The intense gravity and radiant chaos of the core made your presence feel small but significant, anchored in a place of power. Here, the vastness takes on a gentler quality. You feel suspended in a calm sea of starlight, with no immediate forces pressing upon you. The silence becomes soothing rather than daunting. Your thoughts expand, free from the constant sensory drama of the core, drifting into broader contemplations about existence, time, and humanity's place in the cosmos. Space travel becomes less about witnessing extraordinary events and more about settling into the continuous flow of the universe, its rhythms, its quiet shifts, its subtle balance. Yet, even within this tranquility, an underlying truth remains. You are traveling through regions that no human has ever seen. Regions where the nearest star may be light years away, and the nearest planetary system remains hidden behind layers of dust. This sense of pure exploration of moving through untouched territory awakens a different kind of awe. Not the awe sparked by monumental forces, but the awe of vastness itself. The idea that you are drifting across the galaxy's open interior, carried only by your vessel and the laws of physics, brings a profound appreciation for the fragility and strength of life. In a universe so empty, the miracle is not the stars, it is the ability to move between them. As the spiral arms shift around you like colossal luminous pathways, you begin to understand that the galaxy is not designed for navigation. It does not offer routes or boundaries, destinations or warnings. It simply exists immense, ancient, and indifferent. The journey through it requires humility, patience, and an acceptance that direction must come not from the stars, but from intention. In this mapeless deep, the meaning of travel changes. It is no longer about reaching a specific point, but about experiencing the vastness of the universe itself, recognizing that movement through space is ultimately movement through knowledge, perspective, and the expanding awareness of one's place in the cosmos. As your spacecraft glides deeper into the galactic disk, you begin to approach one of the Milky Way's great spiral arms, a colossal river of stars stretching across tens of thousands of light years. From a distance, spiral arms appear as luminous sweeps of starlight, but drifting into one reveals their true nature. Dense, intricate regions where stellar nurseries, ancient clusters, drifting dust lanes, and energetic young suns coexist in delicate balance. The transition is gradual. Stars around you grow slightly brighter, slightly more frequent. Dust clouds become more common, absorbing starlight and reshaping the sky into graceful patterns of shadow and glow. Entering a spiral arm feels like sailing into a vast cosmic archipelago where every island is a star, and every star carries the possibility of distant worlds. As your instruments analyze the space around you, they reveal the subtle architecture of the spiral arm. The arm is not a rigid structure, but a wave, an immense pattern created by density variations that sweep through the galaxy, much like ripples in water. Stars do not travel with the arms. They move through them, entering denser regions where gas compresses, igniting new stars, before drifting outward into quieter zones. This density wave theory transforms your understanding of galactic structure. The spiral arms are not objects, they are events, dynamic patterns that shape the life cycles of stars. Passing through one allows you to witness star formation as a process defined by compression, gravity, and time, rather than a static arrangement of bright points. In the heart of the arm, you encounter regions of active creation, massive molecular clouds where gravity has begun to take hold. These clouds are cold and opaque, hiding their secrets behind thick curtains of dust. But your sensors penetrate the darkness, revealing protostars forming in nests of gas, their radiant heat illuminating the structures from within. Some of these stars will grow into titanic blue giants, living brief, brilliant lives before exploding in spectacular supernovae. Others will shrink into long-lived red dwarfs, burning quietly for trillions of years. A handful may develop stable solar systems with planets that, given enough time, could harbor life. Witnessing these embryonic stars feels like watching the universe breathe a slow, patient inhalation that will shape entire regions of space for eons. As you travel deeper, dust lanes become more prominent. These dark streaks weaving between bright regions are not voids but dense curtains of microscopic particles, carbon, silicates, ice that absorb visible light but re-emit energy in infrared. To the naked eye, they appear as vast shadows cutting through the luminous fields of stars. But through scientific instruments, they become glowing landscapes rich in structure. These dust lanes are the wombs of future generations of stars, sculpted by magnetic fields and subtle gravitational interactions. Passing through them brings a sense of mystery, a feeling that you are witnessing the galaxy's most intimate processes, hidden from ordinary sight. The further you venture into the spiral arm, the more vivid the environment becomes. Young clusters shimmer like jewels embedded in the cosmic dust, their combined light piercing through the shadows. Supernova remnants bloom like ghostly petals, expanding outward from long-dead stars. Even the interstellar medium feels different, denser, more textured, alive with charged particles and swirling currents shaped by the arm's gravitational interactions. Here, every direction reveals something in motion. Nothing is still. Nothing is empty. The spiral arm is a cosmic city, bustling with creation, destruction, and transformation on scales far beyond human comprehension. And as you drift through this majestic region, a quiet realization forms. The spiral arms are the galaxy's memory. They record its history through layers of stars, ancient suns in the periphery, newly ignited ones near the core, and unborn stars hidden in shadows. They are timelines written not in ink, but in light. Traveling through them feels like reading the biography of the Milky Way, page by glowing page. With each passing light year, you begin to understand that space travel is not just movement through the galaxy, it is participation in its story, a story billions of years in the making. As your journey carries you beyond the luminous bands of the spiral arm, the galaxy around you begins to settle into a quieter geometry once more. The brilliant hubs of creation fade behind you, and the density of starlight softens into a calmer, more familiar glow. In this tranquil expanse, the enormity of the Milky Way becomes clearer than ever before. You have crossed its corridors, drifted through its stellar nurseries, approached its magnificent heart, and witnessed the gravitational engines that bind it together. Yet the farther you travel from each destination, the more you realize that no single region defines the galaxy. It is the sum of all its motions, all its histories, all its ongoing transformations, and you, a fragile observer drifting through its vast interior, have become a witness to its living complexity. In the reflective quiet of deep space, an understanding emerges that this journey was never about reaching an endpoint. No destination within the galaxy can offer finality, because the universe itself has no edges, no concluding frontier. Every region you explored was a beginning, the birthplace of stars in cold molecular clouds, the forging of heavy elements in supernova remnants, the spiraling architectures of density waves, the intense choreography near the supermassive black hole. Each was a chapter in a book with no final page. The galaxy is a continuous story, its characters shaped by forces that predate planets, civilizations, and even time as humans understand it. In this context, your journey becomes a meditation on scale, a gentle confrontation with how small and yet how meaningful consciousness can be. As your spacecraft turns slowly, aligning itself with the starlit path home, you feel the enormity of what you are leaving behind, not in distance alone, but in perspective. You have drifted through regions where gravity bends light, where time stretches and folds, where stars ignite in the silent wombs of nebulae, and where ancient remnants of dying giants enrich the cosmic dust. You have witnessed the galaxy not as a scattering of distant points, but as a dynamic, interconnected ecosystem evolving across billions of years. Returning from such a journey means carrying the realization that existence is far broader than the narrow slice visible from a single world. Space travel expands the human horizon not outward, but inward, transforming the mind that perceives it. And yet, amid all this vastness, you begin to sense something profoundly grounding. For all the galaxy's immensity, for all its luminous beauty and silent power, the same elements that shape supergiants and nebulae also shape you. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your cells, all were forged in distant stars, scattered across space, and woven into new forms through the slow alchemy of the cosmos. This journey has not taken you away from home. It has shown you the deeper meaning of home. You are not separate from the universe. You are one expression of it, briefly conscious, briefly aware, briefly capable of awe. In a galaxy of billions of stars, that awareness becomes its own kind of illumination. As the spacecraft continues its long arc back toward the familiar domain of the sun, the stars around you no longer seem foreign. They feel like companions, points of light connected not by distance but by shared origin. The galaxy, once overwhelming in scale, now feels intimate in concept. You understand its rhythms, its currents, its quiet cycles of life and death. And in this understanding lies the final revelation of the journey. Exploration is not about conquering space, but about recognizing belonging. To travel among the stars is to rediscover the universe within yourself, to realize that consciousness itself is a rare kind of starlight, flickering briefly against the infinite dark. And so the journey ends not with arrival, but with awakening. You return, carrying the silence of deep space, the wisdom of ancient light, and the quiet certainty that the cosmos is not distant or unreachable. It is continuous with you. Every breath, every thought, every moment is threaded into the same fabric that binds galaxies, forms worlds, and shapes the destiny of stars. The universe is not something you visit, it is something you are part of. And in this final realization, the voyage becomes complete, not because it is over, but because it has opened you forever to the infinite.